Hello, and welcome to another episode of Friday with the Chakontas. I'm Mr. Chakonta,
And I'm Mrs. Chakanta.
and we're back with our series of FWTC Reacts.
Yep. We've got a situation ship for you. But before we get there, just want to say thank you so much to everybody who's been listening. And thank you to our new subscribers. And if you are new, you are welcome. I hope you enjoy what it is that we're going to talk about or our discussion. Please feel free to put in the comments your thoughts. And if you like what you hear, please do subscribe. You can also follow us on TikTok, on Instagram, as well as Facebook. All right.
Yeah.
So I'll get straight into the story. So the story goes like this. I need your help with a family situation. I am 42 years old. I'm a lady with 3 kids and a partner as well. Throughout my life, I've dedicated myself to taking care of my kid sister, who I took in after my mum and my father died when she was little. She was born with a special condition and she started a treatment at an early age. After our parents died, there was no one really to take care of her, and so I decided to take her and supported her education until she finished, and also took her to college so she could do something of which she did accounts. After that, she met a guy and they got married, of which I also supported their wedding financially and continued supporting them even afterwards, as both were not that financially stable. So time and again, I could pay for their rentals and also other stuff. After a while, my kid sister lost her job with one of the banks and she hasn't been working since. I advised her to perhaps change career and try medicine, as she is a very intelligent, a brilliant girl in maths and science, so I knew she was going to do well. Going further, I told her that I would sponsor her for the education as well as so she started and did very well in her first 2 years of education. However, what has surprised me is recently she just came home and told me that she's stopping her school. I asked her why, but she just said she just wants to focus on her health and family, as stress was affecting her health. She has her episodes of poor health and fluctuating immune system. And the last time she had a medical condition for her health, the last time she had her medical attention, her health had gone down. So I've been wondering whether there's really something more to her decision for her to stop school. And the bad part is she does not want to talk anything about her education. I thought maybe home things are not okay, but she insisted that everything is okay. And she just wants to take care of her family and health, that's all. My worry is she does not have any other plan in terms of what she's going to do next. Could there be some more to her decision than just health and family reasons? It's really hurting me, because how is she going to take care of herself in an event that I'm not around? Kindly help.
Yeah.
And then so we've got a little bit of information as well on the other side, which is quite nice. So it says, when contacted, the sister said she had a very long conversation with her elder sister who brought the situation, seeking help, and she felt her elder sister has never really enjoyed her life to the fullest because of her commitment to take care of her young sick sister. She feels it's a high time that the sister, who she really loves so dearly, to enjoy her life as well, as she feels she's now a burden to her. She feels her elder sister has already done enough and apologized to her for all the pain she's caused her and all the things she had to go through just for her to take care of her. All she is wishing for is God to bless her elder sister on her behalf, as there is nothing she can do to repay her for everything she has done for her. That is the end. So we've got 2 sides of the story at least this time round. So yes, Mr. Chakonta, where do we start?
You should start on this one.
I refuse to be the starter. You know, your brain has to sort of after all that reading, and then it needs to relax.
Yeah, okay. So, I see where the older sister is coming from. There's nothing wrong with wanting to be there for her sister, in the sense of when you're the older one. And I think for a long time, I think her role has actually changed from being the older sister to being like a parent figure. So she also loved her sister in a particular way that she says, okay, I'm your sister, but I've taken care of you until now.
Yeah.
And I want to what's best for you. So you see, maybe sometimes, when parents sometimes overcompensate because they want to help their children in a particular way because of their love, and they see, okay, I don't want to my child or anything like that to ever feel that they don't have the help that they need. And I think also here it's like there's a level of where maybe also the health situation makes her also be more on it, in the sense of where she's more hands-on in that situation. And I think because of those things, like the three things I said, she's the older sister, she's now like a parent, and also the health condition. So with all those things, she sees very into her younger sister's life, which is okay. And I'm saying, as a parent, you will, or an older sister, you want to be able to do the things that are best for your siblings. I think the challenge now comes, especially now, like when she's married. Some people would say that maybe that responsibility should fall now on the husband. But one of the things now I'm learning as I'm also growing older is that the family dynamics that maybe where we come from is not as easygoing as other cultures.
What do you mean?
Let's say like from, let's say, South Asia and African cultures, there's a lot of aspects of where families are so into your relationships to the point of where even there's certain things that they're so helpful in whatever you're doing. Either it's they want you to, they'll educate you so that you can help them, like parents. They'll put so much emphasis, like an investment in our children is also an investment for us. And I think sometimes it also puts the burden on the child, because the child also has to extend that aspect of I'm working and I have to go and take care of my brothers and sisters and my mother and father, which is, that's based on culture. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. But I think when we look at it biblically, we're now wrestling with the aspect of what does live and cleave mean. But live and cleave, on the other side, I think we also need to look at it from the context of, yes, you have your household, but it does not mean that you can't support the other people who are in your life. And I think it fleshes out in various ways. We've got, I think the Western world have got a very clear cut of, once you leave, you've left.
I think it depends on families, but I know what you mean. The majority of the time, I think. And I get you though.
But there's this other aspect of maybe from us who are sub-Saharan Africans, as even just maybe African culture, or and the Arabs or everything like that. There's also that aspect, Arabs, and also people from South Asia. There's also that intertwined aspect of where family is involved so much, to the point of where sometimes the blurry lines actually come to the point of where they are so into your relationship. And they can also be, if families have got very big personalities, they can actually be driving your relationship in a particular way. And I think maybe that can be the challenge here. The challenge, I think we're just also getting sneak peeks of the aspects of where she is saying she wants to help so much. But maybe this is also becoming a challenge where the husband is also saying that, look, why is your sister so doing things that she mean that I can't do it? Why you expect, why, and you're always receiving this? It
would be nice to hear actually what the husband is saying and everything, because it's quite a big part in this.
Because he's also a big player in this. So but again, I don't know, because again, when she was helping them when they first got married, maybe why didn't he say something? Or maybe it's been a problem for a long time, and maybe I don't know if the sister's aspect of saying I want to stop work is based on the situation of she wants to focus on her health and her family, or she's basically just saying that, or she maybe it's also becoming a situation in the home. And she's saying, look, I have to focus on my home, and I appreciate what you've done for me so far. And I feel that you've put so much energy into my life and helping me out, which is a good thing. But I also now have to be able to live my life out myself. And I think what she's basically saying, I know there's an aspect of where she's also comfortable in the sense of saying, look, I don't want to do this course anymore. My husband is okay. Mentally, I'm stressed. My health is not to the best. I'm also pushing myself so much. And I'm also forgetting the responsibilities that I have in my house. Because I think when we do certain things from an extended family, there's an aspect of where they want you to progress so much, but that progression sometimes comes to the point of where it conflicts with the responsibility that you have in the home.
In the home, yeah.
And I think maybe that's the challenge maybe of our cultures. Our cultures sometimes they'll just feel, you've done A, B, C, D. Why can't you continue in that way? Because I think I've even heard some stories of where like when a wife sometimes goes with her husband and leaves a job, something like that, parents will basically feel like, why would you do that? You're putting yourself at a disadvantage. And it now becomes an issue in the household. And I think these are the situations where it's challenging. But I think those things can easily be discussed, but it's hard, especially when that's the culture you've been brought up in.
Yeah.
Now to take a stand means you're rebelling from the culture.
Yeah, exactly. It's a difficult one.
Yeah.
No, I see where you're coming from with all those points. I mean, I think the first thing that I got from this after reading both of their stories was just how much love they have for each other. And the older sister has so much love for the young sister, and sometimes it's just so beautiful to see that, because sometimes things can be the other way. We can have jealousy, which can come about in families and in relationships, but you can just see pure love and pure wanting, seeing I can literally like see her love in her words and wanting the best for her sister, not only from her health point of view, but also from a life point of view. And I think you're right. Like, she's definitely taken on almost like the role of a mother, where you're like, I want my child to be independent. Should I not be alive, I want to make sure that you are well and you're well taken care of both. And finances play a big part, because, if she's had to have whatever health condition she suffers with, and in the context of where we're from, health sometimes costs money. Not sometimes, a lot of the time costs money. It's very different to, having the free NHS. So that actually I want you to be able to have a stable income, not only for your own good financially, but also for your health. And you're right, like it then becomes blurry when they get married, because then it's like, okay, that's fine if the sister said, if when she got married, the sister was still sponsoring for her and stuff like that. But I think it does become a problem if in the family, if the three of them are not communicating together, if it's just a one-sided thing where it's just her and her sister. I wonder how the husband feels about the sister, whether he feels that she's too much, whether he feels that she is usurping his role. But at the same time, the fact that she's also made a decision to say she's going to stop med school to focus on her family and her health, you can also see the sister like love, because I think she actually agree in a way. It sounds like she agrees. She's like, is there anything else apart? I understand if it's because of family and health, but is there anything else that I'm missing so that I'm not just taking it? Because which means she's acknowledging and respecting that, okay, you can make a decision for yourself based on your health and your education and your family, but am I missing something else? So I really love seeing that love that the sister is giving the young sister and vice versa. I think there was a point I was going to make about their relationship with the husband. Oh yeah, like now if she stopped, they must obviously have talked to the husband, and he must be in a financial position, or she must have other means of thinking about providing for herself. They must be in a financial position for her to take a step back from school. And even if she was paying for med school, that means they were most likely living on one salary. So it doesn't impact on their home per se. It's just now she's got more time at home for her husband and her health. Do you get what I mean? And I don't know what, and med school is not an easy thing. It's really tough. Physically, mentally, emotionally, it takes so much out of you. So if she has a condition that stress can trigger it, and she's thinking, do I really? And the thing is, does she? Because sometimes when people see so much in you, people can speak into you, and because of their passion and drive and enthusiasm, you start to live off their passion, drive, and enthusiasm, not realizing maybe that's not yours, and actually that's not your desire, that's not your passion. You're just living off somebody else's drive. And now she's actually taken a step back and thought, oh, actually, I'm not passionate about doing medicine. I don't want to do it. Or this is really not how I want the. And it's 2 years. At least if it was maybe 3 years, we'll be like, I'll finish. But it's actually 5 to 6 years and more on top of that. So you have to really reflect and think back. And, you know, her response is also a response of love. The way she responds to her sister saying, I just want my sister to have her life. Obviously, she spent a lot of money on her young sister, and it seems that the sister is in a good position to help, but you don't know what that help is also impacting on her financially. Does that mean as a result of her focusing so much on her young sister, she's not focusing on other things in her life? Is she always complaining about money? Is she always, you know, she's living in the most minimal way? You know, it's impacting her relationships in other ways, whether it's friends or spouses. Like, what is the impact of her being so into her sister's life? And now her sister's growing up and being like, actually, you've invested so much in me. I love you so much that I think you need to stop. And I think, and that's actually okay. I think the sister has a vision, and sometimes the visions that we have for our children, and sometimes the vision that we have for our siblings may not be the visions they want or the visions that God has planned for them, no matter what you see in them. Because when you see somebody has so much, you know, she's so intelligent, she's so bright, I see so much in you, you can be a doctor. And then, but that's not the vision, that's not the plan that God has for her. So we can sometimes, and especially our culture has that element where we do like to push our children academically. We do like to push them to, you know, doctor, lawyer, engineer. Like, those are your 3 options. You're not thinking anything else. So you don't know whether that kind of cultural perspective is playing a part in how she's and even how she's written. It sounds like she's really she's like a passionate sister who's like, I just want the best for you. So sometimes even in love, you do need to take a step back. And it's actually okay. And it doesn't mean she's failed. She's done really well, because maybe that's a promise she made, you know. I promised to get her to this point. I promised mom and dad I'm going to make sure I look after her. And she has an idea of what that means, but not actually patting herself on the back and congratulating herself for the amount of amazing work she's already done.
Yeah. And like when you say there are some times where we've got these visions of what we want either our children or our siblings to be, but that's normal, because we want the best for either our siblings or especially our children. We want the best. Let's say if we went through something, we don't want them to go through certain things.
Yeah.
But I think in the same process, I think we've got this issue of where we want to minimize the life experiences that some people go through, our loved ones, as much as we can. But I think sometimes maybe we also play God in those situations, not knowing maybe those life experiences is what God wants to help them and teach them about Him and His goodness towards them. And I think that's something I'm trying to also learn, because even let's say, for example, you've got friends who or even siblings or cousins or whatever, you tell them, don't live this lifestyle. And you're so passionate about them, and it's like you want them to not go through that, but they end up going through that. And I think sometimes maybe, I don't know, maybe there's also that issue of where you're telling somebody not to do something to the point of where they actually just do it. I don't know if there's just something of where they just want to be rebellious and just say, I want to live my life. And through that, now they're in that situation. And I think it's very difficult, especially for a parent, especially when you've warned somebody, to basically now when that person comes with that situation, or a friend, and yet now they're coming to you and they're saying, oh, I need your help. Those things are very challenging, especially on the other side. And I think it also now teaches us and saying, look, we have to be also able to understand that, look, there are certain things of where we can do the best that we can with our own strength. But then I think sometimes we just need to leave certain things to God.
Yeah.
And I think maybe also how she needs to come to that position of where she's like, look, I've done everything with my strength. I've given the best that I can. I'll help whenever I can help. But I have to also I also have to let her live her life, and also God help her live her life the way He sees it fit. Because I can't be the one who is always thinking about this to the point of where I have to control all the aspects of the steps of how things go.
Yeah.
And I think that's a challenge also for, like, especially somebody who's got a personality like that. They have to control every aspect.
Yeah.
If they feel like they're not in control, they feel powerless.
Yeah.
And I see a bit of that in her, especially on her sister, where she's like, I need to help her as much as I can.
Yeah.
In this and that and that. And her sister is also seeing that.
Yeah.
And basically she's saying, you've helped me enough.
Yeah.
And because you've helped me enough, I'm grateful. Live your life. You've got 3 children. You've got a husband.
Oh yeah, I
Focus
forgot
on
that she's got 3 children and a partner herself, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Oh yeah, I forgot about that.
Yeah, like focus on that or something like that. And I'll focus on me.
My family.
It doesn't mean that now we've just gone our separate ways. It just means that, look,
I'm old enough now.
I'm old enough and I'm okay
to make decisions and make choices.
Yeah. And I think it's also I think maybe the other side was, or maybe also where I also maybe see her thinking is, they've lost parents, and maybe this is maybe the only contact of the relationship of siblings. I don't know. They haven't talked about the other siblings. So maybe if it was just the 2 of them, it also becomes her energy is based on, this is the only person I have. So if I lose her, I'll be by myself from my family. And those things are maybe what's driving also on her mind to basically overcompensate, because I'm saying, I have to help my sister. I have to help my sister. I have to help my sister.
Yeah.
And with that, she's so, she's basically trying her the best that she can to do whatever she can to help her sister. And I think the sister is also good. Like we've said, she's given her the freedom to basically say, you can leave. And that's a good thing.
Yeah, I think she just needs to, I think there is so much anxiety when we face so many different challenges in life. And for them, losing their parents is also one of the things that, you know, like you said, in a way, could be the driving factor of saying, if I, what happens if I die? Who's going to look after you? At least if you've got a job, then I know that if anything were to happen to me, you would be fine. And I think this is the part where you also need to let her make her decisions. I think it does hurt when people make decisions that you don't like per se, or you don't think are wise, but that everybody's entitled to make their own decisions, and you've got to support her in her decision. So like this is to the big sister, you know, you got to support her in her decision. It might hurt, and you can express that. It hurts me. I am concerned that, you know, you don't have plans for the future. Do you have any plans for the future? You can ask her. If she says no, not at the moment, maybe she's just, sometimes we just need a break. We've been running, and we just need a break to figure out the future. And sometimes the best thing to do is not to have the next plan, is actually to rest, and for you know, as in the young sister, to rest and to reflect on life, to think about her options, to think about what's the way forward, to listen to God's guidance. She has a husband, so that is also another sort of helping hand. She's not alone, and just trusting that. And then for the old sister to just trust her. You know, she's a grown woman. She's made a decision, and don't let this sort of come in in between your relationship. You can still have, if you tend to have other conversations aside from what are your plans for the future, continue your bond, continue talking. If you see each other every so often, going out for a tea, going to each other's houses, however way, because your relationship is not just based on what's next. What are you doing with your life? What's going on? There's more to your relationship. There's other aspects of your relationship. And one way that relationships grow and flourish is being there to support our loved ones in the decisions that they make, even if those decisions that they make, one, we're either not happy with, or two, we don't think they're wise. Or sometimes people make, this doesn't mean it's a bad decision, but sometimes people generally just make a bad decision. And you just say, the decision you made is wrong or it's sinful. And you tell them that, and then you sort of move on and you let God do the rest, and God to work in you as well to help you to trust in Him, because you're trusting in you, in her ability to look after herself based on what you see of the world. Like, because we see that when somebody has a job, we see that as this person can look after themselves. We forget that job has been given by God.
Yeah.
And therefore, the thing that we need to lean on is the fact that God is going to look after us, not because we have a job. Even if she had a job, that's not guaranteed that she'll always have that job. There are many reasons. It's not always like she's going to be fired. That people are made redundant, companies close. Like, there's so many reasons. So your trust shouldn't be in what you see, because you don't see her having a job or her having a plan, but your trust should be in God has brought us this far, and God is going to help us both work through this, and God is going to help her in the future should I, as in the older sister, die. That means God has called me home, and that means He will look after the people He's left on earth.
Yeah. And I think that's a very good point what you're saying, like, especially when we're thinking about death sometimes can cripple us to the point of where we plan so much about how we're going to live after we are gone, to the point of where certain things, we put so many things in place, and those things in place, now we have to question, are those things that we've put in place, first, are they godly? Or are they things that will be honoring towards God? Because there's another aspect of where sometimes there are some people who want to control things even when they're in the grave, and they want to do that. They want to control that. And I think some people, it's their prerogative, especially if it's maybe like certain things that they've acquired and all that stuff. I agree with that. But on certain things of where your personal life or something like that, I think those things are based on you, because there's some people who basically, like, they'll run themselves down to the thing because of a promise maybe they've made. And they're saying, okay, I promised my sister this, I promised my parents to do A, B, C, D. And they'll run themselves to the ground just trying to fulfill that promise. Instead of basically saying, I've done the best that I can. And I think maybe my parents will be, or my sister will be proud of what I've done so far. But ultimately, I think God has given me the strength until now, but I just can't. And I think one of the things I think maybe we're also forgetting from the story is that her health is actually declining. And I think maybe that's also maybe because of stress, or just her pushing herself even more than she needs to. And maybe I think on this situation, I think the advice is maybe give her some time to rest and focus on not anything that is so stressful to basically add to the stress of her body. And maybe let's see if she'll recover and she'll be much better. Because right now the thing is going through, like, let's say, as you said, going through a degree like medicine, although she's done the best like 2 years, she can just put it aside maybe for a year or something like that and see how it goes. It doesn't mean that she stopped. Because I think maybe also the sister, sometimes she feels like when you've stopped, it's okay, you've stopped, so now life has stopped. You can always go back. Because I think like she has this issue of where you always have to constantly be doing something. You've lost your job. Okay, go and start doing this so that you can find something. And there's an aspect of where I think even like from the Bible, we see that God created the world in 6 days and he rested. Rest is something that we need. And rest is something that sometimes we just have to go through that. And I think sometimes sometimes even, especially when you're not healthy, maybe God is also just telling you that, okay, you need to rest.
Yeah.
I'm not saying that God is giving you a something to make you no, because I'm saying it's just rest sometimes can also help.
Yeah.
Recover,
give clarity
and also
help your body.
Help you, and other stuff than you also stressing about so many other things.
Exactly.
And I think these are the things that we can advise on this situation, because one of the things we've said, the love that they have for one another is very commendable. Because you actually see like sometimes where like people would not do this.
Exactly.
They'll just basically say, okay, me, I've helped you, I've given you school. And I think sometimes even some people will basically say, oh, I educated you until whatever, no, figure it out. Or something like that. And I think, but for her, even like the good thing I also see about her is that she's not only just giving her advice, she's also willing to actually put her money into the situation of actually encouraging her.
Yeah.
Which is a good thing.
Yeah.
And so those are the things that I can see about their relationship. But that relationship also needs to come to a point of where understanding that she's grown and she can make the decisions for herself. If she's made these decisions, respect that and help her in that decision. There's nothing bad about this decision.
Yeah, exactly.
It's just maybe there are worries, and also we'll give advice and say, like we said from the other time, there's certain things we'll give advice and say, consider this. What if this happens? What if that happens? But if that situation is not sinning against God or anything like that, maybe we can see, even just giving time, as we've said, give some time and see.
Time for her to think about it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And maybe she's comfortable, and maybe that's also personalities are different. There are people who are actually comfortable in the unknown, and some of us are a bit more uncomfortable in the unknown.
Anxious,
exactly. But so I think we've raised quite a few different points. I don't know if you had a different point.
No.
Because I realized that I might be repeating myself. I was going to say something about it, and then I think we've already addressed it.
Yeah, anything else you want to add? Nothing?
No.
Okay.
I think it's just, I love the love that they have for each other.
Yeah.
That's all.
Yeah.
And yes.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think we've come to the end of this episode, and we hope and trust that you guys have enjoyed it.
Yeah.
And it is a lovely story. And we hope that the ones who've actually been going through this, because we've taken this story from somewhere else. So we hope that the people who are involved in this have actually managed to figure this out. And the love that they have for each other has continued regardless of the decisions that they've made.
Exactly.
So until next time, thank you for listening, and thank you for sharing. Thank you for listening. Yeah. And what else did you say? Maybe
if you haven't yet subscribed and you liked what you heard, please do subscribe. Please put in the comments as well your thoughts.
Yes.
And share.
And
share to others as well.
To others. And we're truly grateful for the support that we get from you guys.
Absolutely. And we look forward to seeing you in the next episode.
Okay. Until next time, thank you and God bless. Bye-bye.
Bye.